Hello and welcome to the next episode of Mount Hello and welcome to the next episode of Paddock to Mounting Block mini course. In this episode, we are going to be talking about grooming in a way that will continue to maintain that softness and that connection that you have been so fostering so carefully in the last few episodes, from the moment you arrive to where your horse lives, go into his field, put his head collar on, lead him. Now we're going to groom him and get ready to do whatever it is you're going to do. Grooming is a very special time because it's not only about getting your horse clean and checking for lumps and bumps and make sure that everything's okay. For me, grooming is that really special time to really feel each other and sense each other, get comfortable around each other, make sure we're both in the right frame of mind. And if you just need to watch horses grooming each other mutually in the field to see how special that time is for them. So make it that special. Okay, I have a short a slide that I want to bring up now so we can go through some to-dos or not to-dos, and then I'll share a video of me grooming a horse, and we'll have some comments and then we'll put it out there. Okay, so let me just go and get that slide. Here it is. Grooming whilst maintaining connection. Let's see what it brings for us. The first thing that we want to think about when we're going to groom our horses, we've brought him on the yard, and you want to really consider, do I need to tie my horse up? Of course, there are practical reasons for tying up your horse. There are other horses around, you need to keep him in one place and so on. But really, you want to not tie your horse up until you know that you don't have to tie your horse up, okay? So no, you shouldn't really be tying up horses that aren't happy to being tied up. And if your horse feels the need to move around while you're grooming him, then there are things to be looking at, okay? Maybe you're missing some mini signs, going too fast, not breaking it down enough for him. It's the same with cross ties. I don't mean to be judgmental, but when I see photographs of horses in cross ties, it breaks my heart, okay? Your horse needs to be able to tell you how he feels. And cross ties, the same as tying up your horse, are of course okay if your horse doesn't need the cross ties, but then why use them? But that's a subject for a different day. The other consideration is whether we put a hay net up for a horse or not when we're going to groom them, because it is very common practice and there's nothing wrong with it. We just need to be aware of what's happening or not happening when we put a hay net up for a horse. So why are you putting the hay net up? Are you putting it up because you need to distract your horse so that it will stay still while you're grooming it? Well, then maybe there's something that we need to address around the grooming. If we're putting up the hay net because we know that the horse will be fine even without the hay net, that's super. And it's always good for the horses to have a little bit of food in their stomach. Well, they should always have food in their stomach, but make sure they have some before we go off for a ride. So it's not a decision whether, oh, don't put hay up or do put hay up. Just be aware of the implications. If you have a hay net up, the horse might be more distracted by the hay than by what you're doing. So you have to be more conscious of your checking in so you're not surprising your horse. Remember, horses hate surprises. So the next thing as you're going along is you pick up a brush, make sure you show it to your horse. Let your horse know what's going to happen. Remember, this is all about making sure the horse knows what's going to happen next and is okay with what's going to happen next. That's how we become the best thing that ever happens, because anything that we propose, the next thing is a good thing. Okay, so when the horse is distracted in its hay net and we are busy talking with our friend over their back and we pick up a brush and we start vigorously with a curry comb, that might just put a little bit of a into your horse, which is exactly what we're trying to avoid. All those moments of mini brace, because a little mini brace and a little mini brace, they do add up. They add up. And so we want to avoid those. So your horse is munching on its hay. You might just say, hey, check this out. Check in with the brush. The horse, then you read the feedback. Does the horse say, okay? And it's with its facial expressions. If it kind of goes, fine, you can go ahead and brush. If the horse then maybe pinches his nose or looks the other way, maybe it's saying, hold on, I don't like that brush, or whatever. Every moment is different. Whilst you're grooming your horse, it's a good idea to keep both hands on the horse and your belly button pointing away, a little bit like this little girl in that photograph, even though she's not grooming, but the way she's standing with her toes parallel to her horse rather than at her horse. There are two reasons for this, and the one I'm going to mention right now, it's a good way to keep your toes safe in case your horse moves, but there's also energy things that and implications, but that's for another day. Oh, and I've just gone forward here, but the two hands on the horse is so that the horse knows where you are. You know, like if you go to a massage parlor and you're having a massage yourself and the hands disappear, it's always a bit of a worry where the hands are going to find out, where the hands are going to show up. So keep your hands on your horse. One is grooming. You'll be able to feel things before they happen as well. And then we come to the subject of picking up feet. So many horsemanship books suggest that they're only going to do one thing and you only have time for one thing. Make sure you pick up your horse's feet. Well, I'm going to suggest that we leave picking up the horse's feet for last in our grooming session. Why? Because picking up a foot and handing over one of their feet is a huge act of trust, and it puts the horse in a vulnerable position. You know, it's wired to run if there's danger, and now it's a three-legged horse. So you want to make sure your horse is comfortable and calm and happy to be around you and trusts to just pick up his foot. So leave it for last, and I'll show you a nice way to do it so that you're not leaning on it or pulling on its fetlocks hair or pinching its tendons. You'll see that in the video. And keep checking in. You'll see in the video how I keep checking in with my horse. Even when the horse checks in with me, I stop. So be present and make this grooming time count as putting money in your relationship bank. It's a very special moment. Okay, so that's it from a theory point of view. I'm going to just go and get a video.
This is Crazy, a horse that lives here at the ranch, and I am going to groom him, keeping in mind the things that I've just shared with you in the... Hello again. This is Crazy, a horse that lives here at a ranch, and I am going to groom him, keeping in mind the things that I've just shared with you in the lesson above about how to maintain connection when you are grooming your horse. You will see here, I have chosen not to tie him up. It's a horse that I don't know very well, so I will not tie him up because I'm not 100% sure that he needs to be tied up or not. I have a nice smile here in the rope, and I am checking in with him with my hand, and here we go. Let's see what happens. I'm going to pick up my first grooming utensil, and you'll see I will offer it to him. And I don't think that horses smell them, but it's just checking in, and he knows, so this is what this is, and let's see what's going to happen next. Here is, you see here, I'm not full on to him, so I have my belly button off him. I'll have to turn it off here again as I go to the back. And in a minute you'll see, I'm going to pause it so you see, I notice he is distracted a little bit. He's looking at what's going on off camera here. There's some horses that he doesn't know. So I'm just going to check in with him and ask him, are you still with me, buddy? But I keep my hands on him. And yeah, check in. We're still on together. He actually pushes into that quite nicely. Okay, and here, this is, you see how he checks in with me? So I am going to stop grooming to take advantage of that and check in with him nicely. So let's see what happens next. Yeah, little distraction again. So there, I'm going to ask him to move his feet back. Whatever's happening off screen has actually caught my attention as well. So now we're going on to the next brush. I'm not brushing the whole of him or making him look spick and span as if he were going to a show. I'm just showing different things. See, he moved towards me, so I'm moving his feet out again. I'm not being shy about grooming him, so it's not about being careful or all mellow and soft. It's just, I keep checking in with him. I say, are we doing this together, buddy? Yes? Okay, let's keep going. Okay, so I'm going to get the next brush. Here he's looking and chewing there. We'll have to talk about licking and chewing at a different time. So many things are said about what licking and chewing is all about. I have my own theory, and that's all it is, a theory, because I have no scientific research to prove one or the other. Anyway, here I'm checking. So it's the same procedure. You check in. This is what's coming next. And I groom him and I check in that he's okay with it. And he seems pretty okay there. There we go. He gets distracted. I check in again. Very nice. Good. I'm going to get the hoof pick, I think is the next one I come out. And this is one I really want to talk about. And I'm just, I'm going to get him ready here. I'm just turning him around a little bit so you can see what I'm doing better on the camera. So before, I'm going to just pause myself. Let me just get myself in a more favorable position. So I'm going to stop here to say when we pick our horse's feet up, we put them in a very vulnerable position. A three-legged horse can't run away as fast as a four-legged horse, and they know that. So horses giving us their feet is a huge vote of confidence and trust and accepting vulnerability. So we need to do it with a lot of respect. When we pick our horse's feet up, in an ideal scenario, they give us our feet rather than us pushing on their shoulder or throwing them off balance or pulling on their fetlock hairs. There's so many different ways that I see horses being picked up. I'm going to show you now how we can ask our horse to pick their feet up. And it is a little bit trick-based, as I'll show you now. So it's a cue and a response. But it seems to work well. And the horses that I have worked with stay very soft and are happy to pick up their feet. So I'm just squeezing his chestnut. I'll show those of you that don't know where the chestnut is in a minute. And he just picked up his foot. I'm going to put that back so you see I don't have to go down to pick up his foot. I squeeze there, and as I squeeze, he picks up his foot, so I just need to just take up the slack, and that's the way it should be. I just drop my hoof pick there. Then I put it down softly. See how the horse is round? So that, no, sorry, that went a bit too fast. Let me just go back here. So he's still flexed around me, and that's the ideal moment to put our horse's feet down and not when they're turned away. So here, for those of you that don't know, that's the chestnut, and there's one on the inside here. Forgive me if I'm preaching the converted, but just in case, and I'm going to put my hand down here to squeeze that and ask him to pick up his foot. I missed it. I asked him again. Okay, and just so you know, this is a horse that I haven't worked with before, so it seems to work. So there, correcting him. He needs to stay attentive. I am picking up his feet. Put it down softly and check in with him again. Okay, so he's still soft and connected. Same thing for the back foot. He picks up his foot. I need to match it a little while, and I wait until he's relaxed until I start picking his hoof. So watching this video, I realized I could have waited a little bit longer because there's still a little bit of tension there in the stifle. But he was quite willing, and he put his foot down, and I check in with him again. So I keep checking in with my horse, making sure that all of this is okay. So that was really, really nice. Soft, connected, happy horse.
So that's that. Grooming a horse with connection, fostering connection with consideration. So just remember, just lots of checking in, making sure your horse's thoughts are not inside the hay net, that they're with you. You know, something I include now in my teaching, because that video is about 4 years old. So how to check in with the horse before we go around the back of it, so that the horse knows it's you going around the hind. It's not something that I show in that video, which I just realized. But keep checking in with your horse. Make sure your horse's thoughts and your thoughts are in the same place at the same time. And that's what connection really means, isn't it? So have fun with that, and I'll leave you with that for now, and see you in the next one, which is saddling up. Let's go get a horse with a saddle.